The forest pressed against the camp like a wall of solid shadow. Elias sat on a damp log, his gaze fixed on the dying embers of the fire. The orange glow barely reached the base of the surrounding pines, leaving the rest of the world to the dark. Beside him, Buster stood rigid. The dog's hackles were stiff, his body angled toward the dense brush. Elias reached down to steady the dog, but Buster refused to settle. Then, a whistle pierced the stillness. It was a clear, melodic trill, mimicking the song of a northern cardinal. Elias checked his watch. The dial read 2 a.m. He looked up, his brow furrowing as the realization settled in. Birds did not sing in the dead of night. He opened his mouth to speak, but the sound died in his throat. The forest was too quiet for such a song to exist. The melody repeated, precise and rhythmic, cutting through the damp air with an impossible clarity. Elias gripped his knees, his knuckles turning white as the sound continued to loop. There was no wind, no movement in the canopy, only that singular, haunting whistle echoing from the blackness where no bird should be. The whistling stopped as if choked. Silence rushed back in, heavier than before. Then, the first thud hit the forest floor. It was heavy, wet, and rhythmic, yet followed by a sharp, metallic clicking sound that defied the soft earth of the woods. Elias stood, his hand dropping to the rifle at his side. Buster let out a low, ragged whimper, his tail tucked firmly between his legs. The dog backed away, scraping his claws against the dirt until he pressed his trembling frame against Elias's legs. The clicking grew louder, more erratic, echoing from multiple directions at once. The brush parted with a violent crack. A massive grizzly bear stepped into the dim reach of the firelight. It did not move like a predator. It stood upright, its posture stiff and towering, reaching a height that seemed to stretch toward the canopy. Its front paws hung limp, swinging in rhythm with its heavy, disjointed gait. It stopped at the edge of the clearing. The firelight glinted off its fur, but the creature remained perfectly still, its bulk looming over the flickering flames. Elias felt the air grow thin. The bear remained upright, refusing to drop to all fours, its presence dominating the small, light-starved space. The bear opened its maw. Instead of a growl, a voice drifted across the clearing hollow, yet perfectly distinct. It was the voice of his missing wife. She asked if he had brought the lantern. The sound hit Elias like a physical blow. He froze, his skin crawling, his pulse hammering against his ribs. He raised his rifle, but the metal rattled violently against the stock. He could not keep the barrel steady. "You are not her," he shouted, his voice cracking. The creature did not blink. Its head snapped to the side at a sharp, 90-degree angle with a sickening, wet crack of bone. It held that position, staring at him from an impossible vantage point. Elias felt his grip on the rifle slacken. The woods behind the beast seemed to pulse. Shadows shifted and deepened, and for a heartbeat, dozens of eyes, deer, owls, and wolves flickered into existence in the dark, watching in perfect unison. The bear ignored the movement, its amber eyes locked onto Elias's face. It waited for an answer, the wife's voice still lingering in the air, cold and intimate. Elias stood trapped in the flickering light, his rifle heavy and useless in his shaking hands. The bear dropped to all fours, its body moving with an oily, fluid grace that defied its massive frame. It slipped into the shadows, vanishing as if it had never been there. Elias did not have time to breathe before the woods exploded. A cacophony tore through the silence, a frantic, layered chorus of human screams, jagged laughter, and overlapping whispers. The sounds clawed at his ears, coming from every direction at once. Elias lunged toward the fire, grabbing a thick log and heaving it into the center. The flames surged, hungry and bright, pushing back the encroaching wall of black. He spun around, desperate to find his partner in the light. He called for Buster, but the clearing answered only with the rustle of leaves. His heart dropped. In the spot where the dog had been shivering only seconds ago, a wolf now sat. It did not growl. It did not move. It simply stared, its eyes reflecting the firelight with cold, predatory focus. Elias looked down and saw the leather collar, still buckled, hanging loose around the wolf's neck. The creature remained perfectly still, its presence a void in the middle of the frantic forest noise. The wolf did not lung. It held its position, its muzzle pulling back slowly to reveal a wide, toothy, and undeniably human grin. The sight was a visceral violation of nature. Elias could not turn his eyes away. The creature opened its jaw, and the sound that emerged was not a snarl, but the familiar, playful whine of Buster. It tilted its head, the leather collar jingling against its fur, and spoke in the distinct, rhythmic cadence of his dog. "It is time to run," the creature said. The words hung in the clearing, heavy with malice. Elias gripped his rifle, his knuckles white, but the fire in front of him faltered. The wood popped, a single, sharp fracture that echoed like a gunshot. The flames sputtered, dimmed, and died in a heartbeat. The light vanished. The world contracted into a single, suffocating point of black. The forest noise died with the fire. There was no wind, no rustle, no breath, only the absolute, crushing weight of the dark. Elias, hearing the silence surround him, finally turned to run, but it was too late. The ghostly sounds of the wolf laughing fade as the darkness swallows Elias into the void, leaving only the embers of the fire, a tent, and Buster's leather collar behind.
Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. Like and follow Whispering Woods Media for more, and let's explore the magic of storytelling together.